Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. So this is the second evening in this program, this new program, starting in May. So this is second Tuesday evening, out of 3 Tuesday evenings. Really very much in a form of introductory level on the teachings of the Buddha. And last Tuesday evening, through reading a few verses from this text, Dhammapada, attributed to the historical Buddha, several different versions, Sanskrit version as well as Pali version. So my reading the text is the Pali, based on Pali language and translated into English. So last Tuesday evenings, mainly the verses, few verses that I read was the chapter is called The Path, and mainly the wisdom that the Buddha encouraged his followers to cultivate, to develop, and this evening, I'm going to look at more, going to read a few verses, the more like a, when Buddha gave advice, instructions, and the teachings to his followers, how to live their life within the, the community, within the societies, as a, the follower of the teachings of the Buddha, traditionally called code of conduct, or another term is, ethical way of living that we saw yet last Tuesday evenings, when Buddha taught 8 Noble Eightfold Paths to his followers. Out of the Noble Eightfold Paths, the 3 are very much related to, the ethics or living ethical life within the community, within the society. So tonight, I'm going to focus on that that part of the, the Buddha's teachings, based on few verses reading from Dhammapada, and I will give some, my explanation, on those few verses that reading from this text. So first, what is useful, what is helpful when we gathered like this? It is useful and helpful to join, to participate this kind of gathering with a positive mind, with a constructive intention is useful and helpful. People who are here last Tuesday evening, I briefly mentioned why it is important or useful to learn, to train ourselves, when we engage in activities with our body, speech, and mind, engage in those activities, either routine or worldly, the activities, or something unique, spiritual activities, engage in those activities with a positive intention, with a positive mind. and the purpose, the reason that I mentioned last Tuesday, very briefly, but that I've done. So once again, this evening, I would like to encourage you to do that. A positive, a constructive intention according to your mental strength. Doesn't need to be, some form of religious or spiritual or deep philosophical reasons. It can be just simple, common sense, everyday, the positive intention. Then of course, people who have a spiritual path to follow, like the teachings of the Buddha, and then it is useful, helpful. Set your intention, set your, the intention to join the class according to that spiritual path. Like the people who are following the teachings of the Buddha, set your intention, like the mind taking refuge in Buddha as your spiritual teacher, mentor, and taking refuge in Dharma, his teachings, as a actual means, methods to be applied in our daily lives, to be experienced, to be cultivated, and taking refuge in Sangha, as one's own, treat Sangha members as one's own spiritual friends, supporters, and that mind, people who have, who are following the teachings of the Buddha, that with that mind, joining the class or starting the day, also during the day, every now and then recalling that mind, recollecting that mind, the mind taking refuge in three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, will be very, very helpful and useful. Then, of course, also some of you follow within the teachings of the Buddha, follow for some reasons, follow the, the Mahayana traditions or Mahayana teachings or Bodhisattva teachings. If that's the case, then it is useful, helpful to set your intention, not only the mind taking refuge in three jewels, also the mind, the altruistic awakened mind, the mind that genuinely, sincerely cares, concerns well-beings of all living creatures, regardless of having different connections, receiving different treatments from others, from one's own side, without any discrimination, without any selections, to all living beings, concerns or the cares, well-beings of all living creatures, and holding that mind as your the main intention, being here and to join the activities. So basically I strongly believe basically that we all have the abilities, strengths, mental strengths to experience, to hold many layers of positive and constructive minds. There's no doubt. Regardless of having different, different background, culture backgrounds, having or not having any form of spiritual, religious faith or not, we all have the potentials, the abilities to experience, the many different kinds or types of positive intention. Only thing is, many of us, not to pay that much attention to that. We don't, we don't try that much to raise, to enhance, to experience, these kind of positive minds. And coming here, learning, the familiarizing, habituating, having, to experience those positive and constructive mind is something useful to do that. So try all our best to have a positive, a constructive intention to join the class. Oh yeah, so people who like to join with me, reading on page 27, reading the refuge and bodhicitta lines. This reading is not compulsory, only those people who would like to, and also particularly people I have just mentioned, people who are already, following the teachings of the Buddha, reading these 4 lines may help, to once again to hold the mind taking refuge and the altruistic awakened mind. Sanje chöda tsoje chonam la chanju pado dane japso che dage cheche jibe tsonamanje dola penje sanje doba sho sanje chöda tsoje chonam la chanju pado dane japso che dage cheche jibe tsonamanje dola penje sanje doba sho sanje chöda tsoje chonam la chanju pado dane japso che dage cheche jibe tsonam ji dola penje sanje doba sho. Oh yeah, thank you. So with this positive and a constructive intention to join the class, now we'll do a brief silent meditation, And the purpose of the meditation is simply to enhance, to nurture a calm, clear, and focused mind. The mind which has qualities of stillness. That means that our minds have the ability to stay to the present moment, right here and now, either focus on a particular meditation object, such as your natural breathing, or image of Buddha, or any kind of object can do, or without any particular meditation object, just simply, staying your mind, abiding or staying to the present moment, right here and now, stillness, which is very, very useful mental qualities. And same time, the qualities of clarity in the sense, while the mind is right here and now, and it is fully alert, fully aware of the present moment. The full attention is present. So those two mental qualities to be nurtured, enhanced during this short silent meditation. When you enter into meditation, enter into meditation very gently, not rushing. Initially prepare your sitting posture. Have a comfortable sitting posture, comfortable yet it has a structure, such as your back is straight and so forth. So have that kind of sitting posture. Then gently, to raise initially to enhance the stillness. That means simply, the being right here and now, either with a particular meditation object or without. And then when your mind is, just right here and now, then raise the awareness. Again, very gently, not forcefully, not intense, very gently, yet the clarity and the stillness are fully present. So we'll do this short silent meditation. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So as I briefly mentioned,